Hello, gorgeous humans, and welcome back to another episode of Your Power. I am so excited to have you here as always. And hello to everyone who is watching either on YouTube or the video version on Spotify or wherever you are. Welcome to another new space. You may see visually that I am sitting in another new location. I have very much been in data collection mode the last few weeks, as I'm sure you will know if you listened to the last episode. The audio on the last episode just didn't work for me. It just didn't work at all. It was really, really hard to edit because of, I think, just the environment. It was tiled and open and it was difficult to edit and have sound quality with. So we are trying something new. I think this is going to be better. This is carpeted. There's lots of furniture. We will see how we go. I have actually hired a space in a couple of weeks' time to test that out as well, but we're just playing around, and you know what? You can still hear me, you can still get the information, that is okay. So we're just having fun with it. I wanted to talk to you today about breath. Specifically, I wanted to talk about my journey with breath, and there's a couple of reasons why I wanted to talk about this. One is because breath and breath work has become such a core offer of mine, whether that is online breathwork classes, I have private classes, I have a breathwork protocol, I have, multiple clients where our core focus right now is breath. And it has become such a core part of what I talk about. And so this is why I've created so many offers around it. So before I actually get into it, if you are wanting to dive deeper into your breath, dive deeper into your breath work, or, experience breath work, I actually have a free experience coming up on Wednesday, the 28th, I believe it is. So next week, if you listen to this episode as it comes out. But Wednesday, the 28th of February, you can sign up on my Instagram. I will put the link in the show notes as well. It is a free breakthrough breathwork experience, which is my favorite style of breathwork. It's going to be incredible. If you actually want to see where and how your body has so much power, if you want to see the profound power that your body has and the ability for you to tap into that, this is where I want you to come. I want you to give me 2 hours to show you how powerful this is, and I promise you will not look back. So come and join me Wednesday, 28th of February. But anyway, we are, behind the scenes really, really working on lots of breath stuff, and in particular, breath stuff that looks different to what is out there. Because the second reason, and a main reason as to why I want to talk about breath so much and I want to do it in a different way, is because the number one comment that I get and the number one thing people say to me is that I am the last person that people expect to be talking about breath work and breathing. And I think that's because breath work has such a woo-woo stigma around it, right? When you think of breath work, you think of a very spiritual practice. You think very woo-woo. It's not really something someone who predominantly talks about science you will find talking about. And I am obviously not the most woo-woo person in the world. I'm not, I'm not the typical woo-woo person, but I love breath. And this is why I want to change the conversation around breath work and around breath on a day-to-day basis, because breathing and breath work is science. That is how it works. Breathing and breath work is science. And that is what actually made me fall in love with breath work. And that is what made me really want to include breath work and specifically breath retraining in the work that I do. Because when I got down to it, when I really understood it, I realized how scientific it is. The reason that it works, the reason that these experiences are so profound is because of what it is doing to your body. And there's a science behind it. So I love breath and I love breathing because it is a tool that we can use to control our entire nervous system with. It is one of our only functions of our body that is both unconscious and something that we can control consciously, right? When we think about all of the autonomic functions of our body, all of the things that are happening in our body that are just happening for us, right? Our temperature regulation, digestion, all of these things are happening in our body without the need for us to consciously control it. So is our breath. However, we can also control our breath consciously. And that means that with that conscious control of our breath, we can actually tap into our nervous system. We can actually tap in and activate parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system consciously and intentionally. It means the way that we breathe is deciding in which of those nervous systems are activated, in which of those nervous systems are working. And that's really fucking powerful. That's why I love it. So I want to tell you about my journey with breath and why and how I fell in love with breathing and breath work, because I want you to see a different lens. I want you to understand that there is a different lens to breath work, and not even breath work. I want you to actually not just do breath work. I actually want you to focus on your breath. My first breath work session was on the beach. It was a session that I went to because I wanted to do the ice bath component of it, right? I wanted to actually challenge myself. This was when I first started doing like cold showers. Ice baths was still quite foreign to me. And I saw someone I'd known for a long time post on their story saying that they were running this session. So I went with a girlfriend. We got up, it was pitch black. We went to the beach and we set down our towels and we were like, okay, cool, let's do this breathwork component and then we will do the ocean dip and the ice bath and all of the things. And I was laying there and the breathwork was being done, the breathwork was being facilitated, and I don't think I had any expectations. I didn't really know what to expect. I don't remember thinking about the breathwork component too much, but I was laying there and all of a sudden I was crying. And it wasn't even it wasn't a breakthrough session. It wasn't anything intense. It was just, it got really emotional for me. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is going on? And at this point, I was only really getting started with understanding and healing my nervous system and really understanding what regulating my nervous system actually meant. And so I'm pretty sure that I was at a point where I wasn't actually very regulated and I wasn't actually someone who was taking stillness and slowness and that wasn't really me at that point. I was still quite dysregulated. And so, it was a session that wasn't activating. It wasn't, intentionally emotional. But I think it was one of the first times that I've actually laid there and just allowed myself to just be and just be really present. And I think that's why I got emotional. And I think that another element of it was, there was the sound bowls, there was the sound healing, there was, the music component. I think one of the songs that came on, was probably one of me and my ex's songs, something like that. And there was just so many elements where I was like, wow, this is all new. My body is experiencing this newness and stillness for the first time. And yeah, it was, I was kind of like, wow, okay, I'm crying. What is going on? So anyway, I finished that breathwork session. We did the ice bath, we did the ocean dip. It was beautiful. It was such a nice morning. And I said to my friend afterwards, I was like, wow, I did not expect that at all. I wasn't sobbing. I wasn't emotional, but I was teary. I had tears streaming down my face. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So anyway, at the end of the session, I went up to the facilitator and I said to her, wow, thank you so much. That was incredible. This is what I experienced, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, book in with me, book in a one-on-one session with me. She was like, it sounds like you need it. It sounds like, something wants to come, something wants to be released. And so I did. I booked in a one-on-one session and I saw that she offered class style sessions. So in terms of it was a shorter session, it was, specific based on regulation or relaxation or long, slow, deep breathing or whatever it was, something that you would traditionally do in a class style experience. And then she had a breakthrough breathwork experience. And I booked in for the class style. I was like, well, the breakthrough scares the shit out of me. I'm just going to go the class style. And I think it was also because the breakthrough experience was like 2.5 hours and the class style was just over an hour, I think. And I got there and she was like, okay, cool. Tell me why you're here. She was like, I know you had this experience during the beach. Tell me what you want out of this. And I just said, look, I was really surprised at, the emotions that came to the surface in that experience. I didn't expect it at all. And I think that, intuitively I'm listening to my body and my body's trying to tell me that I need to do something, that I need to follow this. And then I told her about, I think I was like fresh out of a breakup at that point. I had other things going on. I think mostly at that point it was the breakup. And I said that to her and she was like, cool, we're going to do a mini breakthrough session. I was like, fuck, okay. So we did, and we did the mini breakthrough, and it was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. It was like the emotions and the thoughts and the things that came to the surface, I was blown away. And that was just a mini session. I had emotions, I had tears, I had thoughts of things that I hadn't thought about since I was fucking 3 years old. Like, it was intense. And thankfully, I was at a point in my personal development journey where I knew that intensity and that scary experience meant that I needed to lean in. I needed to continue leaning in. So I left that, and then I straight away booked a full 2.5 hour breakthrough breathwork experience. And that was the start. That was the very beginning. The second experience, I went back and I basically said, I'm just going to surrender completely to this experience. I don't want to focus on anything. I don't want to think about anything in particular. I'm not here to work through anything in particular. I just want to surrender to this experience and I want to see what comes up. We did the breakthrough session. I think I did it like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later. I remember asking her, how often should I do this? And this is one of the most common questions that I get from clients around how often we should be doing these, breakthrough experiences. And the answer that she gave me was, until you don't have such a profound reaction anymore. She was like, the bigger the response and the bigger the release that you have, the more you need to lean in, the more often that you need to lean in. So that's why I think I booked 2 or 3 weeks later. And yeah, I went back for that 2.5 hour session, and she said to me at the end of this session, I'm going to give you a pillow. I'm going to walk out of the room. I'm going to turn the music right up. I want you to scream into the pillow. And I remember going, what the fuck? Like, that is not happening. Not a chance. I'm not interested. Like, no, thank you. How embarrassing. By the end of the session, I was grabbing for the pillow. Like, I was just ready to, I just needed to release. It was so powerful. Sometimes I just don't even have the words to explain how powerful breakthrough breathwork is. It's just something you have to experience. I think for me, what was most powerful, yes, things came to the surface. Yes, I moved through so many emotions and things came up that I haven't thought about since I was fucking 3 years old. Like, memories came to the surface to be like, wow, yeah, this is why I act this way, or this is why I feel this way. Like, I think for me, while yes, all of those things were amazing, for me, the most powerful thing was it showed me what your body is capable of and how much your body stores. It released emotions and brought up things that I had never experienced before, never allowed myself to experience before. And it was really in that first proper breakthrough session, that I actually really changed the direction of my business and my life because of the power that I saw in my body, the ability of my body to actually bring up all of these things. I was just dumbfounded. I was able to see all of these things that people had been saying for a long time and that I'd ignored because it was woo-woo or because it was spiritual or because it didn't resonate with me. Like things like your body stores trauma, your body, your body knows, like all of these things. I'm like, cool, sure, no worries. But it's the fucking truth. Like, if you think about it, Your conscious mind only holds 5% of everything that you are experiencing in reality. Like, your conscious mind is only able to contribute to 5%, right? Your conscious mind only has 5% control. Everything else is stored in your body and your subconscious. Everything else. If you think about however many years you've lived in your life, your conscious mind cannot control or store that in its 5% capacity. Everything that you have experienced, everything that you have seen, observed, been made to believe, everything that you have gone through in your however many years of life cannot all be stored in your conscious mind. And so it goes down into your subconscious. It goes into your cellular memory. And it is only when you actually do these practices that these things can come to the surface. It is only when you do these practices that you can access all of these things that you have stored, all of these memories, all of this trauma, all of these observations, all of these beliefs. It is only when you do these practices, when you access your body's stored memory, that you can actually bring these to the surface. And that is what breathwork taught me to do. That is what breathwork showed me, was the ability of your body to actually store and bring these things to the surface. And it was just, it changed my fucking life. Like I said, that first breakthrough experience, I literally came out of that experience falling in love with the power of my body. And that is when I switched to focusing on neuroscience and the nervous system. Like, that breakthrough breathwork experience, it came to me in that experience how passionate I was about this. It was always something that I focused on. It was always something that I loved, the brain and neuroscience and all of these things. But combining that love and then seeing this power unfold in front of me, I was like, fuck, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing. I am meant to be understanding what is happening in my body right now, and I'm meant to be sharing that with the world. So the first breakthrough experience was very heavily like, cool, this is what you're meant to be doing. This is your purpose. This is what you're going to take from this session. And I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked on the power of what my body could do. I was absolutely hooked on understanding what was going on in my body when I did this. And that was the beginning of it for me. So you can see why I'm so passionate about breathwork, right? Because it not only is such a powerful fucking tool, not only is it such a powerful thing to experience, but it is the reason as to why I'm doing everything that I'm doing. And in further sessions, you know, I changed the dynamic of relationships. I was given answers into what I needed to do in particular relationships. I was told in a breathwork session, my mind told me that I needed to release certain people. And I did that. And I got out of that session and I did that. It's just, it's so powerful. And that is just like breath work in general. Like, breath work in general is there's so many different ways in which breath work can benefit you. And, you know, for example, my online classes, I have one session that is an activating session. So very similar to breakthrough breath work, except not like the whole experience, but it's meant to activate your sympathetic nervous system. It's meant to increase your ability to access those subconscious thoughts and bring all of those things that are stored there to the surface. I have a regulate session, which is very focused on parasympathetic activation. The intention of that session is to relax and restore and allow your body to go into a parasympathetic state very intentionally so that you can hit those restoration processes. And then I have a session called Rewire. And this kind of session is something that I'm so fucking proud of, because this session I actually developed all on my own. It is nothing I experienced. It is nothing that I have ever seen anyone do before. It is a type of session that I created from the understanding of how your brain is functioning during breathwork. And basically what the Rewire session is because I can understand the science behind how your brain is working when you are breathing in these particular ways. I can see the brainwave states that you are entering. And because of those brainwave states, I know that you have the ability to access your subconscious mind. So with the rewire session, I actually promote the breathing in a way that alters those brainwave states, that allows you to access the subconscious. And then I take you through a guided meditation to then rewire the beliefs that you have in your subconscious mind, because you have a direct access because of the way that you're breathing. So I'm really fucking proud of that session. I love that session. So yeah, once I was hooked. I was hooked as soon as 2 sessions in, I was hooked. And I started to take it further than that. I started to take it, yes, I loved the big experience of breakthrough breathwork. Yes, I loved the experience that you got to take on a breathwork journey. Yes, I loved, all of the different ways in which you could breathe to change your emotional state or access your emotional state or release certain things. Yes, I loved breathwork journeys. But what I also fell in love with was, if we could do this in breathwork journeys, if we could access these particular states of our body and different areas of our nervous system through these breathwork journeys, what does that mean for the way that we're breathing on a day-to-day basis? What does that mean for the way that we're breathing normally, right? And so I began researching the power of breath. I began really falling in love with understanding the breath's ability in how it controls and how it manipulates your nervous system. And that is when I actually started talking about not just doing breath work and incorporating breath work into your week or, your day, but actually retraining your breath, understanding the way that you breathe, understanding the effects on the way that you breathe on your nervous system, and changing your breathing, retraining the way that you breathe on a day-to-day basis because of the effects that it has on the functioning of your nervous system. And that is when I tapped into the most powerful work that I do with my clients. The way that we breathe on a day-to-day basis, the way that we breathe, and if you've listened to any 5 seconds of me talking, you will know that breath is such a core focus of mine when it comes to regulating the nervous system, because it has so much control around the entire functioning of our nervous system. If we're breathing shallow, if we are breathing quickly, if we are breathing through the mouth, we are activating our sympathetic nervous system. So if we are someone who is sitting down all day at a desk or breathing through our mouth or breathing really quickly, we are very likely going to be struggling from stress and anxiety because our sympathetic nervous system is constantly activated. Whereas if you're actually taking time to breathe through your nose, if you're breathing slowly, if you're breathing deeply, if you're breathing intentionally, you are activating your parasympathetic nervous system. So you are less likely to suffer from stress and anxiety. You are less likely to be heightened. You are less likely to be dysregulated. And when you're breathing in a way that activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your body can go into rest and digest. Your body can restore. Your body can recover. If you are breathing in a way that is activating your sympathetic nervous system, your body is never going to be able to restore. Your body is never going to be able to recover because you are constantly activating it. You are constantly telling it that it is in a state of danger. And so therefore it can never rest. It can never rest and digest, right? Because you are constantly up here. You are constantly heightened. So if you're someone who feels stressed, who feels anxious, who is constantly heightened, who is constantly overstimulated, who is constantly overwhelmed, change the way that you breathe. Simple as that. Change the fucking way that you breathe, because that is going to be one of the quickest and easiest and fastest ways that you are going to change that. You are going to change those stress and anxiety levels. It is no fucking wonder that the human race and us as a society has more stress and anxiety. More people are suffering from anxiety. More people are suffering from chronic stress. As evolution has gone on, we have become lazier in the way that we breathe. As evolution has gone on, we have become more sedentary. Therefore, we are breathing more shallow. We are finding it harder to breathe deeper into our bellies. we are breathing in a way that's constantly activating our sympathetic nervous system. And the way that evolution has gone on, the shape of our face has changed because we are not working as hard to eat our food. All of our food's fucking processed and in packets. And we are not having to hunt for raw meat and chew raw meat anymore. So the shape of our face has changed. And so therefore, we're not breathing through our noses anymore. We're breathing through our mouths. We are meant to breathe through our nose. We are meant to breathe deep. We are meant to breathe into our abdomen. That is how we are designed to breathe. That is how we are activating our parasympathetic nervous system. Breathing shallow, breathing through our mouth, all of the things. I sound like a fucking broken record, but people are still breathing through their mouth and feeling stressed. It's the most simple fucking thing you can do to not feel stressed and to not feel anxious. Breathe through your nose. Honestly. You know what? I want to say I'm tired of saying it, but I think I'll be saying it to the grave. Because it is so simple. It is so simple. Anyway, that is why I have become so passionate about breath, because it is such a simple thing that you can change, that you can learn about, that you can retrain to completely change the state of your nervous system. And then taking it to the next level is breath work. Using breath work as a tool to understand your subconscious mind, to look at your stored trauma, to release your stored trauma, to look at your experiences, to dive deeper into your personal development, because breath is so fucking powerful. It is such a powerful tool to understand your body and to understand your mind. And that is why I love it. So the last thing I wanted to talk about before I end the episode is what you should do to prepare for breath work. If you're going to go, which I absolutely want this to be the case, if you're going to finish listening to this episode and go, okay, cool, I'm going to do some breath work, great. There's plenty of options that I offer. Come and find me, come and message me. I will tell you what the best first place to begin is. But I want you to, even if you go and go on YouTube and watch some breath work on YouTube, I want you to do these things and I want you to know these things so that you can prepare for that experience. There are going to be 3 barriers that you're going to face when it comes to breath work. The first barrier that you will face is your physical barrier. The way in which you are breathing is not normal, quote unquote normal, right? You are changing the way that you breathe from the way that you are not used to breathing on a day-to-day basis. And so therefore, the sensations in your body that you feel are not going to be normal. They're not going to feel normal. On top of that, if you are breathing in a way that activates your sympathetic nervous system, which a lot of breathwork journeys do, when your sympathetic nervous system is activated, it is going to activate physiological responses that are designed to keep you safe. So you may feel things like tingling sensations throughout your body. You might get tightness and tenseness in areas throughout your body. You might get lightheaded. You might feel dizzy. You might get cramps. You will go from hot to cold to hot to cold. You will get something called claw hands, which is where you feel like your hands are going like really clawed and tight. You will have an elevated heart rate, most likely. You're going to feel these sensations in your body that are going to feel uncomfortable, right? They are all normal. They are all there because you're putting your body into a state where it feels like it needs to throw out these physiological responses to protect you or to warn you or to divert you away from this thing that you're experiencing as danger, right? If you are activating your sympathetic nervous system, that's essentially your fight or flight. Well, it's not essentially your it is your fight or flight response. And you are essentially telling your body that it is in danger. So it is going to respond in a way that is going to try and keep you safe. So these responses are trying to get you to stop. They're trying to get you to listen. They're trying to get you to protect yourself and to not continue with that thing. So feel the sensations, acknowledge the sensations, and continue to lean in. The next barrier that you will face is your emotional barrier. So again, you are accessing parts of your subconscious that you will probably not consciously be aware of. You are accessing things that may have happened to you or that you've experienced or trauma that you know of but you don't visit, or emotions that you don't usually allow to come to the surface, right? All of these things are going to come to the surface because your body is in control. You are allowing your body to be in control. And so you don't really have a choice, right? It's going to bring to the surface whatever it needs to bring to the surface, which I will get to in a second. But this emotional barrier, right, is another barrier where you may feel like, ooh, I don't like this. I don't like these emotions. I don't like these tears. I feel like I want to scream. I feel anger. I feel laughter. Whatever emotion you feel is normal because that is how your body is releasing this thing, right? I've experienced it all. I've been hysterically laughing. I've screamed into a pillow. I have been angry. I've wanted to hit something. I have screamed crying, like I've hysterically cried. I've experienced it all. And you just have to trust that your body is bringing that emotion to the surface because that is exactly how it needs to release whatever this thing is that you're experiencing. So just trust it, allow it to come to the surface, lean into it. If you feel like laughing, laugh. If you feel like screaming, scream. Lean in. And the third barrier that you will feel is the mental barrier when all of these things come up. When these physical sensations come up, when these emotional sensations come up, your ego trying to protect you, you might feel bored, right? You might want to distract yourself. You might have the mental barrier of like, oh no, these aren't, I know she said that this is normal, but this feels too much, right? These voices in your head that are telling you to lean out, that's your mental barrier. That is your ego trying to protect you because this thing that you're experiencing is not normal, therefore it is not safe. So this mental barrier is going to come up and trying to convince you like, no, lean out, this is uncomfortable. No, like these emotions, I don't want to think about this, not good. Oh, I can end this session early. I'm not gonna finish it. I'm good. I've had my release, I'm fine, right? All of these voices in your head is your mental barrier trying to protect you from these things that you're experiencing, trying to make you lean out because what you're experiencing is not familiar and therefore it is not safe. So with these three barriers, I want you to lean in. The more that you lean in, the more that you are going to get out of your breathwork experience. It is going to get easier to lean in the more sessions that you do. It's going to get easier for you to get used to these sensations, get used to the things that come to the surface, the more breakthrough breathwork you do or the more breathwork in general that you do. So I don't want you to have your first experience and go, oh, that really wasn't as profound as I thought it would be. Obviously, it doesn't work for me. No, there's an element of your body that is not leaning in yet because it's new and unfamiliar. So you are going to get more the more you do it. The more experiences, the more sessions that you do, the bigger the release that you have or the more you will get out of it. So continue to do it. It might take a few sessions. It might not. Everyone is different. Whatever it looks like, do it regularly. Continue to do it. And then the last thing I wanted to say about breathwork in particular is your body and your subconscious mind will never ever bring anything to the surface that you're not ready to hear. It will never bring anything to the surface that it will deem unsafe for you, right? So if it is bringing something to the surface, if your subconscious mind is telling you something during a breathwork experience, you are ready. You are ready to look at it. It will never bring anything to the surface that you're not ready for. So in saying that, go into breathwork with complete trust. Go into breathwork completely trusting your body, completely trusting your subconscious. You are in the power here. You have the power in breathwork. Yes, you might have someone guiding you through a breathwork session, but everything that you're experiencing is because of you. Everything that you're experiencing is because of your power in your own body. Everything that's coming to the surface is coming to the surface because you're ready to see it. So keep that in mind. This is going to build new levels of self-trust in your body and new levels of understanding of your body that you will have never experienced before. So trust your body, trust your subconscious, lean in, and I promise you, you will never look back. Once you start your breathwork journey, once you start your breath journey, you will never look back. That is all I have for this episode. That is my journey with breath. I'm sure you can see now why it is just so profound in my work and such a big thing that I do with my clients and focus on with my clients. You know, in my community, we do a monthly breakthrough session because I want those breakthrough sessions to be consistent. And then we also have 3 weekly online sessions in the community. I also offer 3 weekly online classes that you can come and join. It's $15 a week for 3 classes per week. I also offer breath retraining. So I think I mentioned before, I have the breath retraining protocol if you want to take it to the next level with your breathing. There are so many things that I offer. There are so many ways in which you can start your breath journey. If there is one thing that you're going to start with coming off this podcast or coming off this video, whatever capacity you're consuming this in, I want you to just do one breathwork session, whether that's on YouTube, whether that is with me. Come and join the free session next week. Please come and join the free session next week. That is just the best way for you to experience what I'm talking about because it's a breakthrough session. Please just give it a go. Show yourself the power of your body. Show yourself the power of breath because that will be the start of you understanding how powerful your body is. As always, if you don't already, please hit follow, subscribe, whatever the fuck you need to press. That's how I grow. So more importantly, share this episode with a friend who you think will benefit. Share on your stories. Make sure to tag me if you share it. I love seeing that you're listening. But other than that, have a wonderful week. Breathe properly. See you next week. Love you. Bye.